Microphone check, stand by. Yo, Box, where they at? Where my two favorite guys? Here they go. 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 Here they go.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Beckles and Recher on this fine Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful week. How you doing, brother? How's life?
I'm good, man. How about yourself? You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was chill, man. It was very easy. I didn't make a big deal out of anything. I cooked a little turkey. I smoked a turkey. Came out fantastic, by the way. Yeah, I smoked a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm not the overly festive person that gets into a lot of stuff, you know. Yeah. I don't think I ate stuffing. I don't think I ate gravy.
Really?
I didn't, nah. It's
Big
kind of
gravy guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, not like I don't like gravy, but, you know, it's not good for my midsections.
Yeah. What are you grateful for? What are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for my health.
Okay.
Thankful for my family's health. I'm thankful for just life in general, bro. Just, you know, I'm blessed.
Yeah, you are.
I'm blessed. You know?
Everything going well here at the Dignitary Cafe?
Yeah, I've got no complaints. People coming and going, a lot of new people coming through here. We got events happening. And
you see who was here yesterday?
I heard Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
The great Tyler Glasnow.
Unbelievable,
yeah,
man.
Tom Ponzo showed me a picture. He goes, "Is this Tyler Glasnow?" I'm like, "No, that guy's not pretty enough to be Tyler Glasnow."
And then when you look closer, you're like, I think he is, actually.
Actually, he looked up the slip, and it actually said Tyler Glasnow
he
on
sent me.
it.
He was like, "Is this who I think it is?" And I go, "Yes, it is."
Wow, how about that?
Yes, it is.
He knows what a good kratom is.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Kratom Kava. That's how we roll here at the Dignitary Cafe. Again, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. At Ian Beckles Show. At Recher on social media. It's been a big day for sports here in the Tampa Bay area, and a lot of times when you talk about, you know, we always Bucs NFL being king, and you'll hear Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan back to practice, which is a really good sign. We didn't think that Evans would be back until much later on, but in a day like today, USF takes the lead with their news that Brian Hartline is the new head coach, and this is a guy that he's a Big Ten guy just like himself. Came up through the ranks, played in the NFL. I mean, a big deal, man, to have a guy like that. And Rob Higgins and everybody, they went out last night on the jet. They just showed the picture. He's their number one choice. Kind of crazy to think that the Buccaneers, USF, their number one choice. But sometimes I don't believe him to that, but I really do with him. I mean, talk about the offense coordinator from the number one team in the country. This is a big deal for you.
Listen, it doesn't mean that they're going to have success, but if you go out and you get your number one guy, you got to feel good about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, obviously he's been vetted. I recognize the name Hartline from the NFL from him playing back in the day, so it's a somewhat recognizable name. And now we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we've talked about USF and what it is, and somehow you got to run into that guy who, see now, if anybody has success here, they're probably going to step. Okay, that's just the way it goes. Unless you find somebody who has such a deep root in USF that he can't leave, and I don't even know if that guy even exists. Like, who would that be? Would it be Matt Grothy or something like that? Like, seriously.
Like a BJ Daniels. Yeah. But the only way that becomes more of a reality is if they get out of the American. Like, the way that it's currently constructed, you can't expect anybody to stay. Like, you can't expect Alex Golesh to turn down Auburn to stay at USF. Not at this current time. But what this tells me is that all the things that Rob Higgins and Derek Brooks are saying, not that I didn't believe him before, but I believe him even more now. Because you think about it like this, USF just came out a couple of days ago and said that they are 100% part of the revenue sharing of a quote-unquote salary cap for players for $20.5 million. Not only are they the only American conference team to do that, but the only group of 5 teams to do that. And not every Power 4 school is doing that. So, yeah, you'll see Alabama and Ohio State, Indiana, you see a lot of these teams. Those lower teams, even in the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC, not all of them are spending 20.5. So not only is Brian Hartline going to have a full bag to be able to pay some of these different recruits, but also USF has positioned themselves to really be ready when that change comes, looks like 2030, to go to a bigger conference.
Well, my thing here is, and I really do believe that USF's going to come up, okay? Because of the stadium, because of Derek Brooks, and I think they're on their way. Now you could look at this. I'm gonna look at this like the Tampa Bay Lightning. In the early '90s, it didn't look appealing to play here in Tampa Bay, okay? Because you're like, who wants to come here? And nobody knows anything about hockey. And then fast forward 30 years, and all of a sudden, I think people would rather come here than anywhere else, okay? I think USF, if they can find themselves in the right conference, get a little success, it'll be the same thing. We're still in Tampa Bay area. We're still in paradise. It's going to be one of the best fields out there. The weather's fantastic. So if you figure out a way to win, and once again, Indiana, they got Signetti there, and he loved it so much and turned it around that he's ready to stay, okay? Right. If you did that here, I mean, Bloomington compared to Tampa Bay,
close.
It's not close, okay? So it's possible. It just, where they are right now, it's not possible.
I've been saying it for a while. I think USF going to the ACC makes too much sense. You play Florida State, play Miami every year.
Absolutely.
Right? You play Clemson every year. You go and then you look at the men's basketball side and you're playing Duke every year.
Yep.
I mean, that's what you want.
That's
what you want. And if you can compete, and people talk about, oh, UCF, they left USF in the dust. Does anybody even hear about UCF anymore? They don't even hear. Yeah, great, they're in the Big 12. It says XII on your jersey. But you ain't doing jack shit in football.
You know what's funny? I didn't know they were in the Big 12. I didn't know.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, it's great, but then you have to win, and just they haven't done anything. So USF, they have to go, but then they have to make the most. When you have the leaders in place like you have right now with Rob Higgins and Derek Brooks, like that's something. Like if you're Brian Hartline, he could have got the Penn job. They wanted him. He chose, whatever the reason is. Maybe he's a diehard Buckeye. He would never go to the Nittany Lions. Whether that has anything to do with it or not. Over Penn State.
Well, if you really sit and think about it, and the expectation part of it, when you go to Penn State, the expectation is sky high immediately. Immediately. If you come here to USF, you win this first year, get to a bowl, people are happy here. If you lose 3 games in Penn State, nobody's happy over there, okay? So and once again, it's Tampa Bay. As opposed to it looks cold over there in Penn State when they're wearing the all white. And it's nice here, you know what I'm saying? So let's hope that this, we see this as the era that USF kind of takes that next step.
So today is National Signing Day, and somebody asked me yesterday, like, oh, we're just going to have to punt on National Signing Day. Well, you're still getting people. Martin Grammatic's younger son, G, is committed. We knew that was probably going to stay the same, but heck, there's still guys committing. Sure. And now you're getting wide receivers that are looking at their new coach going, that guy helped Emeka Ibuka. That guy helped Marvin Harrison Jr. That guy's got Jeremiah Smith at Cordell Tate. I mean, if you're not already committed to go to Alex Golesh, it might be better off for you to stay. National Signing Day is probably not as extravagant as it was in years past because of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your national signing. Was that any part of how was your when you signed to your junior college first? What was that like? How did you that
to my junior college?
And then when you went to Indiana, what was that like?
Oh, it was no fanfare. I mean, like literally when I signed with junior college, I had never seen the school.
Wow.
Derek McCready was a guy who was from Montreal, and he told the coach that I can play. Me and my boy Sean can play, and he was like, "Bring him." That's about as big as the story is. They sent us over like these scholarships. Never saw our film. We got there, and
Derek McCready.
Derek McCready, yeah.
Still keep in contact with him?
No. Derek played in the CFL for a little bit, but it was one of those things where when I signed to Indiana, I also was at a junior college having to graduate the 2 years, and that's very uncommon. Normally you leave like at that Christmas time, you know what I mean? So I really got signed with Indiana because somebody flunked out of Indiana.
Wow.
So there was no fanfare there. So, I mean, I didn't need the fanfare. Good thing, because I didn't have anybody. I don't even know if I had an article in the paper, I don't think.
Really? Even back home?
Nah. I slip through every crack possible athletically because I swear to God, I go home and nobody know my name. And that's if I go to my school that I grew up in, nobody knows me. Nobody knows I went there, and it's even teachers that taught me didn't know I played in the NFL. Isn't that crazy? If I played hockey, they'd know.
Yeah.
They'd know. They played in the NHL.
Stand out too. You're like, look at that big moment right there.
I would stand out a little bit.
Lemieux, Beckles.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable. Wow. So you're more well known here?
Nobody knows me in Montreal, Canada. Nobody. Not one person. Except for my people. Except for my people.
Marty knows you.
Marty barely knows me. I saw Vinny the other day. He still doesn't know me. Vinny LeCavalier still doesn't know me.
Vinny LeCavalier, man.
He's never known me.
The king of meeting you 27 times for the first time?
Yeah. I was in a box. I was in the Lightning box for a concert. And, I mean, couldn't be more than 10 people in there. And he was sitting at the table next to us. And he just never... I've met him at least 10 times. We're from the same neighborhood.
What concert?
I'm trying to think what concert.
Was it a guy?
No, it wasn't Broussard. It was that...
No, it was the guy I met.
Yeah, you're talking about Marc Broussard. That wasn't him. No. I think what did I just go to? I'm not even remember that.
One Direction? Backstreet Boys?
I don't even know a One Direction song.
Don't?
Not one.
What about Backstreet Boys?
Oh, I know of them.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not.
Songs? You want it that way?
Yo, my. Bye.
That's insane. Listen to this guy. He's got 2 daughters too, folks.
Backstreet Boys sang that other one, the bouncy one.
The bouncy one.
The bouncy one, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Come to the Dignitary Cafe.
Yeah.
Good chances there's no Backstreet Boys in
I promise you there'll be no Backstreet Boys playing. They'll be in sync, though. We could play some in sync. I like in sync.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You know, bye.
That Gone song is good.
Gone is a good one.
Real good.
Pretty much Justin Timberlake by himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, so I saw a video today for the Buccaneers, and they went around and they asked who would bench more, the offensive line or the...
I saw that.
Did you see it? And then they were making fun of Tez Johnson for what he did bench. And Vita said he would just bench the bar. Mm-hmm. And then when Tez went to go check him, he's like, I said you said 250. Who would win that? Offensive line or defensive?
Offensive line.
Yeah?
100%. 100%.
Every offensive line in the NFL?
Yes.
Okay.
Top to bottom.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yes.
I figured because the offensive line for the Buccaneers is better than the defensive line. But just because of what they have to do, I figured that's probably the way it's going to be across the NFL.
I would say you're probably right. Because here's the thing. The top defensive lineman may be stronger than the top offensive lineman. That's a possibility.
Okay.
Because Vita might be stronger than anybody there. It's possible. You know what I mean? But the weakest defensive lineman will be substantially weaker than the weakest offensive lineman. Okay. Because some defensive linemen just get there like they just don't bench any. You can't really be an offensive lineman in the NFL benching 300 pounds. I don't think it's even possible. I think you have to bench 400 pounds.
What was your max?
500. Yeah, 500. I did 470 in college.
500 pounds. Did you bench the most out of all the guys you played with?
Out of everybody I ever played with, Tim Irwin, I seen him do 500. I think I saw Jim Pine do 500 once. Other than that, nobody else did.
Defensive side of the ball, anybody?
Actually, Dexter Manley. I saw Dexter Manley do 500 by himself with no spot. I was a strong son bitch.
What's the most you've ever seen benched?
Not much. I don't think I've seen much more than 500 ever attempted.
How does that translate for you as an offensive line guy that's never lifted a finger?
Mm-hmm.
How much can you correlate that? Because obviously that's part of the combine. People want to know how many reps you do and at what weight. So how does that translate to offensive line play? And how did I figure out that the offensive line was better than defense? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like it's something different.
Yeah, it doesn't. You can't. Okay, it's one of those things where
so it doesn't translate at all.
Because I know guys that bench 5-something that couldn't play offensive line.
Yeah.
Okay, then I know defensive linemen that bench 200, and they were great defensive linemen. Right. Just like
it's just one of those things where it can't hurt, but it doesn't directly correlate.
Oh,
to
it helps.
Success.
It helps to be strong. Okay, so if I said to you, "What's the most important, asset for a quarterback?" You really can't say it. Like, because you could give me 10 different quarterbacks, and there's 10 different characteristics. But offensive line, you could be a strong guy if you have bad feet. You have no chance. If you have bad feet, you can't play offensive line. You can't do it. I don't care. But if you bench 250 and you have to block Vita Vea, you can't do that either. Physics was just going to say, he's just going to run through you like you're paper mache. He's going to and then break right through you. You can't do nothing about it. So you better figure out a way to have some resistance. And the bench press is a good way to do it. That's a good start anyways.
So we were discussing this a couple of weeks ago about the Bucs being 6-2. And that there was a real possibility that they would be 6-5. And you said that even after they were 6-5, there would be some worry because they don't really deserve to said that they can beat anybody. Mm-hmm. They're now 7-5. They get back to their winning ways after a dub over the Cardinals, even though it wasn't all that impressive. Now that we've gone through the last month and a month and a half, we had this conversation. Do you still feel that same way now? Do you still feel like there's a bit of untrustworthiness when it comes to the Buccaneers? Do you feel more optimistic because some of the guys that are coming back? Where are you at? Because I don't think it's as much a surprise that they went from 6-2 to 7-5 because we kind of, predicted that there's a really fair chance that this could happen.
Well, most Buc fans really, like you said, predicted exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got to that point. We lost the 3 games. They're like, well, if we lose the next 3, then we're in the middle of that right now, okay? But the thing is, we can talk about losing the next 3, then winning out, but we've only won 1 game, okay? Right. And so it's easy to think that we're right on course. But, looking at this Buccaneer team, I don't know if there's a team that people know less about in the NFL than the Buccaneers. I really don't. Is
that good or bad?
I don't know. Okay, but I'll tell you this. In order for you to raise up a few echelons, you got to change something, and things are about to change. We're about to bring some different people in here. If you'd have said to me, we're just going to get more explosive on offense, I would say, why? Okay, well, hopefully because Mike Evans is back, Bucky is back, McMillan's back. Those are legitimate reasons why you get more explosive offensively. Now, defensively, I might be more scared than I am offensively. So if I say to you, that's fair. What would make me think that this defense is going to get better in the next 5 weeks? That's the problem. So that's what's kind of scares me. He ain't enough. He's not enough. Even when, for him to come off the couch and jump right in there and make a difference is highly unlikely. Highly, highly, highly. He's not that player anyways.
I was listening to the In the Trenches podcast. Ian records that every, Monday?
Correct.
Ian Beckles Show on YouTube. Make sure you check that out. Sponsored by Manny. When I'm watching, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking about the defensive side of the ball. That's the number one concern.
Sure.
It's the defensive side of the ball. It's the inability to get home with just 4 pass rushers. If Todd Bowles doesn't do some exotic, extravagant blitz, then they're not going to get home. And the other thing, Beck, is when you look at their numbers, we spoke about this last week, they get all their numbers against bad teams.
Yes, they do.
Get their numbers against the Saints and the Jets and the Cardinals. And Yaya's got this, and Anthony Nelson does this. What did they do against the Patriots? What did they do against the Bills? What did they do against the Lions? Mm-hmm. What did they do against the Rams? What did they do against the Eagles? Show me those statistics. And when you look at them and you go, not good. Because is your goal just to make the playoffs? Or is your goal to make a deep run into the postseason? If that's the case, then I'm only really judging you against the good teams you play. I'm judging you in that game against Houston, where that defense looked good and you came away with the victory. I'm judging you in the game where you went to Seattle and beat that Seahawks team. The rest of them, I'm not too thrilled with. And listen, you win the game this weekend against a 2-10 Saints team. I don't know how much of my opinion is going to change. Carolina has 2 of the most impressive wins of the year, going into Green Bay and winning the low-scoring game, and then going into L.A. and beating the Rams. So those games aren't a surefire win. Those will probably be more impressive now if the Buccaneers win. But, Beck, I look at this team right now, and you're right. We've been clamoring for an identity. I don't know if we're going to get it all year long.
I don't know if my sentiment towards the team, my evaluation of the team, changed one iota from the win last week.
None.
It's a game you should win. We didn't win going away, but you're supposed to beat Arizona at home. You're supposed to win that game. Now, here's the other part of it, okay? If you mess around and win this weekend against the Saints, we won't say the same thing. Nothing's going to change. That's a team you're supposed to beat.
Right.
But here's the part that's scary, all right? Here's the part that's scary. the Buccaneers are a team that really haven't beaten good teams. Here's the hard part. Carolina's a good team. If you think you're going to beat Carolina twice, it's not likely. Not the way the Buccaneers have been playing. So, to me, the Buccaneers got to figure something out because Carolina is built to beat the Buccaneers. That's who they're chasing after.
Yeah.
And they got to play them twice in the last 3 weeks. So, I wouldn't bet my house the Bucs beat them twice. No way.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Ted McMillan on the outside and Rico Dowdle being able to run the football. They've invested a lot into their offensive line. Their defense is a lot better than I think a lot of people thought. The thing with the Bucs is that they can beat good teams.
That's a fact.
So last year they beat Philly, they beat Detroit, but then you lose some of these. They lose to Denver. I think at the time people didn't really know who they were, but as the year went on, you see it this year how good their defense is. Then this year, I think it's a pretty impressive win to go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks.
Agreed.
But you didn't just lose to the Rams and got smoked in both of those games, or it wasn't even close. They played you off the field. So that's the troublesome part about the Buccaneers, where it could work out in their advantage, where maybe everything comes together for them. They go on a run. We've seen in the NFL before. We saw with the Steelers the one year where they were the 6th seed going in. So with Joe Flacco and the Ravens, hell, we saw the Giants do it twice. So it's not like it's impossible for that to happen, but if you're banking on something like that, I mean, that's wishful thinking. It's the hope that kills you, because look who participated in the Super Bowl last year. Chiefs and the Eagles. Could have told me in week 1, hey, Jay, I think the Chiefs and the Eagles are going to make the Super Bowl. Who's saying that? That's, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to say, wow, that was really out of left field?
Correct. But listen, we're deep in the football season now. We're coming close to the playoffs. But before the end of the season, when I ask you why are the Bucs going to go deep into the playoffs, you have to have an answer. And we don't have answers. And I think that's important. I really do, okay? You have to figure out something between now and the end of the season. You got to do something consistently. We haven't run the ball consistent. We haven't been explosive on offense consistently. We haven't rushed the passer consistently. We haven't stopped the run consistently. We haven't turned over the ball. We haven't done anything consistently. But we've done them all.
At points, yeah.
At points. We've done them all. Even for periods, we've done them. And we're like, oh, my God, we're a good offense. And the next week, we poop on ourselves. Oh, my God, we're a good defense. And next week, you're like, oh, my God, that's awful. So I don't know what we are. I really don't. And I just don't know if we're going to find out this week.
No, I don't think you can find out against a bad team, can you?
No, not that bad team.
No, not that
Saints
bad.
are not a good team.
We always want to hear from you guys. We got the live chat up. Shout out to Benny and Eddie and Ponzo in the house.
Ponzo.
Best Buck fan, love the kitty. Mr. Wright, is the Bucs defense a concern? They have given up lots of points. They should have been off the field. Yeah, they are. Definitely. And especially because they can't rush the passer with 4.
At all.
And I don't want to hear about, oh, well, they did this last week and the pressure and all that shit. I don't care. Show me against a good team that you can get to the quarterback and come away 5 sacks. Can't do it then it won't matter.
Well, I look like we're talking about inconsistency. Anthony Nelson has one great game. That's it. Yaya Diaby. He had a coverage sack early in the game, then disappears. So it's about consistency. And we don't do anything consistently on defense for sure. No way.
No doubt about it. Hey, there was another story we've seen the last week, and I wanted to get your 2 cents on it. Odell Beckham Jr. hopping on the podcast and talking about how he blew. Oh, after taxes, it gets 60 and blah, blah, blah. I just marvel at these professional athletes that get paid all of this money. And all of a sudden, it's gone. It's out of there. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine making that kind of money and on? How do you live on $60 million? Pretty easily.
Doing actually. What though? I don't feel.
You know what?
I don't
spending
feel,
it on cars.
Yeah,
and
but I don't. Giving
it to people.
Jay, I don't feel bad. For
no, you're
nobody.
not. I'm not saying feel bad. No, that's how they do it.
I understand that, but $60 million? How the hell? Listen, if you spend $60 million, you're supposed to have assets, aren't you? What are you spending $60 million on? Stuff that's intangible? Well, that's not smart. What other women, gambling, drugs? Those are the 3 things that get you, okay? And any combination of those, okay? If you're buying houses, you still have assets. Mm-hmm. You're probably buying boats and cars and like peeing the money away and limousines. And listen, I'm sure you enjoyed yourself, but now you broke. Now you broke. If you enjoy yourself this much when you're in the league, when you're out of the league, you broke.
Why do you think that happens? Is it a cultural thing? I was having this
It's
conversation.
It's an ignorance thing. It really is, because when I got I didn't get money thrown at me like these guys. Okay, so I got, like, my first year I made $90,000. All right, and I still did dumb stuff. Imagine you would have gave me $2 million or $5 million. I don't know how dumb I would have been. I don't know. So I think it's hypocritical at times when people look at young athletes and they call them dumb athletes and dumb this and dumb that. When, if you know very well, if you were given millions of dollars when you were, you gotta get financial advisors. That means you gotta trust somebody with your money. It's not quite that easy, okay? Mm-hmm. And football is the only sport, the only one that really doesn't have longevity. Right? If you sign a deal when you're 19 years old, a baseball player, you're probably going to play 14 years. Football, you don't know if you're going to play 2 months. Mm-hmm. Okay, so think of even your lawyer friends. Okay, lawyers make a lot of money. Think of at 28 years old, you say your lawyer friend, stop being a lawyer, do something else. He'll have to leave the neighborhood. Right. Okay, so I just think when people look at athletes at times, they don't really consider the situation.
So how do you change that?
You don't. It's an individual thing. I think I just learned from experience. I learned from my parents a little bit. I learned from other people's mistakes. But I also saw other people. I'm going to use Keith McCants as a good example, because Keith got a $2.5 million signing bonus my year, and my bonus was $40,000. But I also watched Keith buy boats, and the boats sit in the back of his house. I watched Keith buy numerous cars. I watched Keith at the club spending thousands of dollars, and it was inevitable. So you see it coming, and you want to stop them, but man, they're having too much damn fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, because I guess we'll be gone tomorrow.
Gone.
It is. You helped that. You certainly helped that along, don't you?
I mean, I thought about this the other day, and this is real. I don't know if I've ever been to a club in my life. I'm 58. I don't think I've ever been to a club where I spend more than $300 in my entire lifetime. I've seen guys spend $20,000 at the strip club just on girls dancing. $20,000. Now they broke though. They broke, yeah.
Man. Let me check that bill for you. Looks like there's cocaine on that. Mr. Wright says, does the NFL have classes for rookies coming into the league to explain some financial basics? They do. But still, it's up to them to be able to take that advice.
They're 20-year-old kids. Yeah. They don't listen.
You also had the DARE program in school. People still smoking weed out there.
Right? God bless weed.
God bless. We've been having this discussion over the last couple of years about Mike Tomlin's time in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And those discussions are getting louder and louder. I haven't want to. You know how long?
It's been a minute.
And for everybody that talks about Mike Tomlin and, he's got his winning record, I mean, this is another place where they're about as close to championship or bust as any team in the National Football League. And haven't even won a tough game in 9 years. I feel like time to look. You're Mike Tomlin. Time for them to look for a different coach. Doesn't mean he's not a great coach. I still think he's a fantastic coach, nor do I think he'll be on the sideline. But Scotty Bowman, your guy, said something you got to know when it's time to move. And I just feel like the message is getting old. I'm tired, getting stale. I just think he would be better in a different place. I think the Steelers would be better with a different voice, different era. Right? It's not Chuck Nolan, Bill Cowher, where it's like, hey, you're going to coach here until you retire. I just think it's time for them to go their separate ways.
I don't disagree with what you just said. I think in a perfect world, I'd like to see the Steelers approach Mike Tomlin and say, hey, listen, Mike, this has been wonderful, okay? Let's figure out a way we can take care of this, because I thought it was time for Tony Dungy to leave, okay? Mm-hmm. You could tell somebody it's time for a change and hopefully not disrespect them and hurt their feelings.
Right.
Okay, so.
But it is a business.
Okay, it is, and his feelings are going to be hurt. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. But it'd be nice if the organization could approach him and say, listen, we're talking about that. And what are your sentiments? What do you think? Maybe you would like to step away to make this feel better or whatever. We'll pay you the money, whatever. And wherever Mike Tomlin goes, he's going to be successful. Because, like I said, I thought it was time for Tony Dungy to leave, but I also knew he was going to be successful wherever he went.
Right.
Because sometimes it's just, like you said, it's just the message gets stale. You're talking to the same people over and over every single year. It gets stale. Go somewhere else. Go to Arizona. Go somewhere else where you can bring a whole new mentality and change. The Steelers don't really change. And while I say that, Todd Bowles mess around and do this one more year, and then people are going to be saying that here too.
Yeah, no doubt.
If we don't do something in the playoffs this year, at the end of this year, Buccaneer fans have every right to start saying this. Like, where are we going? Are we heading in the right direction? Is just making the playoffs enough? And for Steeler fans, I know it's not enough. I know Steeler fans. And Steeler fans are questioning Mike Tomlin. I look at them and said, shame on you, but I still get it. I understand.
So is it that time to have that conversation about Todd Bowles?
Not yet. Not yet. I don't know if you could do it now, because what nobody can tell me is that he's not overachieving this year. With what's happened this year, to this point, for him to be where he is right now, he's overachieving, period. Because they could have easily tanked this year with as many injuries and many key injuries as they've had this year. Easily.
I hear what you're saying. Now, just to be the devil's advocate to that, Baker's been healthy, Todd's been healthy, Bay has been healthy, John Whitefield Jr. has been healthy. Right, so there's like a lot of key players. The offensive line was, banged up, but they have been very healthy the last couple of weeks. And it's ironic enough, the games that they've been the healthiest are the ones that they've lost. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that changes how fans look at the Buccaneers. Of yes, you've had injuries, but you've still been able to score without the receiver. You didn't lose the game in Buffalo because of offense. Had most of your guns there. And now, who's overperformed? Who's been the most consistent players on the Buccaneers? Had this conversation. Jacob Parrish, Elijah Roberts, 2 rookies, right? That's scary for the defense. And if you're a defensive-minded head coach and you're calling plays defensively, you gotta wear that. And if you win the division for the 5th year in a row, and then you get bounced again in the first round, the people that wanted him gone last year when Liam Cohen was here, I mean, there's only going to be more people to add to that group. And I think at some point you got to wonder, is this the ceiling for Todd Bowles? Because listen, we just had this conversation about playing and beating good teams. This isn't something that was this year. And the Buccaneers have been relatively healthy the last couple of seasons. They didn't have this cavalcade of injuries that we've seen this year. Todd Bowles does not beat good consistently. So if you don't make the playoffs this year, or you make the playoffs and lose in the first round, I think that's a serious conversation have to have. And this is coming from somebody like me who I thought they should have kept him last instead of going to Liam Cohen.
I think that's what's so weird about this year's team. Because if you say to me, usually at this time of the year, you will say, okay, what do the Buccaneers need to do? And I can answer the question. I can't. I just can't. Because you just talked about 2 weeks ago, our offense looked fantastic. Okay, but we're so disjointed. Like, there's no consistency. Defensively, we haven't looked good in a while, to me. Like, we just haven't. At the beginning of the year, everybody was talking about our defense being good, and I didn't see it. Okay, it was a statistic thing. I didn't see it. And now we're deep into this football season. Our defense is not good.
What do you need to see when you kind of annotate whether a defense is good?
What do I need to see? I need to see a defense attacking. I don't see it. I don't see guys busting their butt to the ball. When you remember back to the 2000, early 2000, end of 99, Buccaneer defense, those guys fly to the football. Reckless abandon. If you watch Indiana defense, they fly to the ball. Like, you went back 2 years ago and you compare them to now, they fly to the ball. When I see other defenses, I'm not seeing this Buccaneer team fly to the ball. There's a lot of things. When I think of our Buccaneer defense, I think of liabilities more than I think of assets.
That's tough.
And that's because I'm thinking, man, our linebackers don't cover all that well. We don't rush
fast.
that well.
Yeah.
We don't really turn the ball over that much. We ever get strip sacks? You know what I mean? Like, where is all this here? Those are all things that could be, something that could make us better. So I don't know. I don't know if any names coming back to make the defense better.
Kalijah's not it.
He's not enough. Because even Kalijah at his best wasn't that great. He's still a young football player, still learning that position. And he's not going to be in football shape.
No, and I feel like when you look at Kalijah Kancey, like, what is he good at? Anybody know?
I see potential in Kalijah Kancey. I see he has a good get off. If you ask me if he's a good defensive tackle, I'm going to say not yet.
Right.
I see potential though. I could see it, but if you're not on the field, it doesn't matter. And he's hurt every year.
Every year
he's hurt.
You know how long Kalijah Kancey's been in the league?
This is his fourth year.
Yeah.
Is this fourth year? Only third. This is his third year.
3, 4, 5th, third year.
This is third year. Yeah. But he's not really.
Not a lot, man.
Hasn't played a lot.
I don't know. The jury's still out for me. Kalijah Kancey. I think he gets a lot more benefit of the doubt because he was a first-round pick, not because of what he's.
I agree. I remember being on Pat and Aaron's show, and Pat was like, Kalijah Kancey's a good defensive tackle. I'm like, no, he's not. Not compared to good defensive tackles.
He's got 11.5 sacks in
his career. No, man. That ain't it.
And Chris Braswell. That's why I put a lot of it, not a lot of it, but I mean, Jason Light has to wear this too. I don't think he's done enough with the pass rush. If your defense is at its best when rush 4, Todd can get a little crazy, then you got to give him more assets on the defensive end. Yeah, you signed Hassan Reddick, but you go out and trade for somebody at the trade deadline. Find another guy off the street. Something. You could say whatever you want about Dallas. I'm no Dallas fan, but one thing I do like about them is that they know that they're good at rushing the passers, and they get as many guys as humanly possible. And they'll take Clowney, they'll take this guy, they'll take that guy. They're not banking on Jadeveon Clowney being one guy. They're like, all right, we're going to put you with Dante Fowler and this guy and this guy. And it's just like, you're rotating guys in there anyway. And if you have a guy that's a phenomenal athlete, you're only going to play him 5% of the time, man, I think his skills go up because you're not depending on him to be an every down back type of guy. And Jason Light, because he values his draft picks, and I think this is everything. I don't think Todd Bowles is adjusting his defense enough, and I don't think Jason Light is giving him enough assets to work with. I think there's plenty of blame to go around.
Well, I think adjusting sounds great, but when the base of the adjusting is not there, and the base is...
Yeah, but how many years do you need? Out of the 1 year, the 1 year they've had a good pass rush was Shaq Barrett.
Sure.
Every other year they haven't had that.
That's just even one part. We don't even stop the run that great anymore.
I know. Then whose fault is that?
Well, that's the thing. Calling plays, offensive plays, is almost irrelevant when we're not blocking up front. When we're not rushing the passer, not stopping the run, you can call any defense. Right. You know what I mean? So if you're a good play caller, you're a good play caller. If you're a good play caller, that means your players are playing well.
Right.
That's it. So I still think Todd Bowles can call a good game. I just don't think he has the dogs out there right now. Yeah. Unfortunately.
All right, finally, I wanted to ask you about this because Darren Radish, Lightning defenseman, is playing some of his best hockey right now. And it's kind of ironic, too, because just a couple of weeks ago, we were having the discussion that he might be on the odd man out. They might look on from him. But the Lightning lose Hedman, McDonough, Chernak, and Max Crozier. 4 defensemen, and they go on a 7-game winning streak. It just shows you what John Cooper has done with this team, Julian Brisebois, and also it helps when you have Andrea Vast pipes. But what I wanted to ask you is, Darren Radish is playing the best hockey of his career right now, as his father is battling with stage 4 pancreatic. And his brother's on the Rangers, and they went up Saturday after the game to see dad, and Darren came back to play for the game with the Lightning last night. What is it about a professional athlete when you're dealing with something off the ice, off the field, off the court, something is, and maybe not exactly like that, but just dealing with anything that is that traumatizing but takes up your headspace? What is playing in a game do for you? How difficult is it to focus? Is it one of those things where you get an escape from the reality? I find it amazing how sometimes these guys can play some of their best games of their lives. You remember, obviously, Brett Favre, that Monday night game against the Raiders after his dad passed away. And when we just hear about, about people going through losses. Quan Alexander, remember years ago, I think his brother passed away and played that incredible game. I think it was against Atlanta, New Orleans. And you wouldn't fault those guys if they played terrible, if their head were elsewhere. But as a professional athlete, knowing how hard it is to be able to be good at your job and people on the field don't care about that kind of stuff. You got to go out there. What do you say when you hear stuff like that, when you know that a professional athlete is dealing with something so incredibly difficult, but they're able to perform at such a high level on the ice, on the field?
Well, I think as athletes, we're bred to deal with everything and anything.
People don't get that, do they?
No, it's one of those things where, like, I hear the press say, well, we'll rest him for a couple of weeks and then we'll put, no, that's not how it works.
It's like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was like, why am I resting? They were like, well, you won't make the plays. He's like, I'm a competitor.
He's going to sit there healthy and not play.
Like, I'm playing.
It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. And it's a mentality that you have to play, okay? Period. And I think when you have that mentality and things like that happen on off the field, whether it's at home, whether it's in your family, wherever it may be, I think if you really think about it, if you're dealing with your parents being sick and you have to go, and I've been through my mother being sick and I had to go to the hospital, and it was, every time I walked into that hospital, I was drained and I was depressed and it was not a good time for me. It would have been nice to be able to go on a football field and uncoil on somebody, okay? So it's a release. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can sit there and just cry about it, or you can lace up your skates and put on your pads and go and not think about it for the next couple hours. Think about you. That I guarantee, like, his father's probably in his mind, but you got to think about something completely different. And all the other time, you're probably thinking about your parents, okay? So that's a tough situation. So I know Tony Mayberry, who was here earlier. I know his father passed, suddenly, and he played a couple of days later, and he was just like, I could not play. It doesn't make sense to not play. It doesn't help to not play. What are you going to do? Sit there and watch the game and cry? So you might as well play. So I think that's just your mentality, and to get to a certain point and play for a certain amount of time, it's almost hard to explain, okay? Because there's times when people always ask me, did you play hurt and whatever? There's times I think I played at 30%, like literally 30%.
When you have something like that happens in your life, does it? I don't want to ever say help you get over it, but help you get through it. Because you can kind of compartmentalize things a little bit. You can get away. And I think that's healthy too, right? Because I think if you bog yourself down with the negativity and depression, just the reality of the situation, I think sometimes it's good to be able to step back, take a deep breath, set your focus and sights on something else.
Correct.
Then when you come back to it, maybe you come back to it with a different perspective. Correct. And, maybe a different appreciation for life and what you got going on. Is that fair to say?
I think you're 100%. When you see people go through hardships, their parents passing or whatever,
it's different as a professional athlete, right? Because it's one thing if I don't play for the Pendingos or anything like that, but again, going back to what Joe Burrow was saying, he's like, people depend on us winning games. Yes. Like, people's jobs are on the line. So in a weird way, you almost have to put things in perspective for yourself, but also realize that you're kind of a cog in this big machine, right?
Yeah, and I think, like, I read a book. I haven't read many books in my life.
I was about to say, you did what?
The name of the book was like Zen and Motorcycle Riding, something like that. And I don't know why I read this book. Somebody told me, and I probably read a few chapters of it. I didn't read the whole thing. No, I didn't have pictures.
Coloring book?
And one of the chapters basically said, an athlete is at his best when he doesn't care. And I kept on reading it. I read it over and over. And finally, I understood. Okay, what they meant was, like, say you're playing tennis and somebody serves and they serve out and you just return it. It doesn't matter, right? Right. So I think sometimes when you're going through such tragedies off the field, you realize that what's happening on the field really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter.
Right.
And sometimes you become better.
Right.
When you're like, this is not that important. Let me just go out here and play hard for 2 hours. And this is not hard. Sitting in a bed, in a hospital, rotting in a bed, that's hard. Yeah. What I'm doing is not that hard. And sometimes that'll make things, put them in perspective and make things a lot easier for everybody.
So, yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to
no
the
doubt.
Radish family. And Darren's one of the best guys that I've ever gotten a chance to cover in my 11-plus years in the media. Busting my chops about my shoes. And a hell of a golfer, too.
Oh, yeah?
Great guy all the way around. So, to hear that he's going through that, and again with his brother Taylor on the Rangers, it was really good that they could play against each other on Saturday. I think their dad, stage 4 pancreatitis. Pretty crazy.
And I couldn't imagine that he's probably watching it on television and watching both of your kids on. That would be amazing.
And Taylor is a guy that, drafted by the Lightning, up and down career, bottom 6 guy with the Rangers, having a pretty good season. Darren, it's amazing. We talk about just like playing through it. Like he's not playing through it. He's playing the best hockey of his career with no Victor Hedman, with Cernak. What does that say about a guy? I mean, that's like the mental fortitude. That may be a phrase that's probably used a little bit too much in sports, but in fact, to be able to know that your dad's doesn't have much time left, and for you to go out there not just play, but play some of your best hockey, like that's true strength.
You never know what's going to inspire you, though.
Yeah, it's true.
Like some people get inspired by different things. Some people you like to be yelled at. Some people like to be coddled.
What kind of guy were you?
I hate disappointment. That's the worst thing for me.
I'm not mad at you, Ian. I'm disappointed.
Like my coach at Indiana, Coach Stripling, I won't forget. He turned the film off one time. He looked at me and goes, "You're better than that."
That was it. That's all you needed.
That's all he said. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, Jesus." Like, that bothers me. Like, you can yell at me all day. I'll look at you. I'm like, F you. But if that disappointment look, I don't like at all. I use it too. I use it. Are you a yeller? You like to yell? You like to get yelled at?
I think when I played, I did more than I thought I would. I don't know. I like the intensity because I just felt like somebody cares. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I like to be challenged.
But for me, as I coached as I got older, my dad, I was hanging out with my dad. My parents send their love. Happy Thanksgiving. We spent so much time with them. But my dad told me very early on, be active, proactive. I try to think about that in my life so often, but especially coaching with kids, especially, 13, 15-year-olds. And we always think that it's about words. I remember one time, like, I listened to what my dad said, and I wouldn't say anything, but I'd be like, look, it's just as bad as saying. So I just learned to, some people are like, they get all upset. And I try to be the calm amongst the, when everybody else is losing their head and you're looking to, what do you want to see? Back shit. This is why I don't, you could say Todd Bowles isn't good at a bunch of different shit. You don't like his defense. But when people talk about his demeanor, I don't think that means anything to me.
Agreed.
It doesn't mean anything.
Agreed.
Because you know what? The greatest coach the city has ever seen, John Cooper, as freaking Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles was lighting into his defense on the sideline last week. We've seen Coop have his moments, but more often than not, Coop is just chill and cool. It was Kevin Cash. The majority of the coaches are like that.
So was Joe Madden. So was Tony
Mike Tomlin. So was Andy Reid. Like, correct. Do you see those guys barking up and down the sidelines? Like, those guys are few and far between. So I don't subscribe to the demeanor on the sideline means the guy's not passionate.
It just means you don't like them personally.
Yeah, I think
that's what that's
it's part of the reason.
No, that's exactly what it means.
You're picking at things.
What do you mean that's the demeanor? What do you mean? You don't know the person. You don't know the guy's demeanor. You don't know the person. And it drives me nuts when he shows no passion. So you have to yell to have passion? Yeah. Passion and yelling ain't got nothing to do with each other for me. Mm-hmm. Ain't got nothing to do with each other now.
And then, to be fair, sometimes I am human.
Oh, I snap sometimes too. I snap sometimes too.
No doubt. All right, guys, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Ian Beckles Show on Instagram and on the YouTube channel, streaming his college football, Indiana kicking ass.
Let's go.
He's on Heisman mode, so he's doing the best he can. Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard, the best kava and kratom in town. You got a big event coming up?
We had this music event.
7 to 3,
some
I saw?
open mic. Yeah, this is some music
So late.
extravaganza.
How long are you going to be?
Who, me?
I saw the time 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. I go, we'll see how long.
I might do a little DJ set.
Nice, okay.
Ava's got a thing going.
Lightning playing tomorrow, so I was going to try to come by after that. It depends on how long you're going to be. I drive all this way and you're...
What way? You ain't going that far.
I'll text you tomorrow. Try to stay awake.
You do that.
Try to stay awake.
I'll be here at the beginning.
4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Again, Dignitary Cafe, the best kava and kratom in town. Ian Beckles Show on Instagram and YouTube. Make sure you listen to the In the Trenches podcast brought to you by Manny and Gordon, and of course his live college football playing. And then Ian joins me every Monday at 12:30 on the Jay Recher podcast. Like and subscribe and follow me on all social media platforms at Jay Recher's Fun. We're thankful for everybody out there, the love and the support. See you next Wednesday right here on the Beckles and Recher podcast. That's full. Got